The massive Imperial warship hung in space like a dark storm cloud above Mars colony. On its command bridge, Imperial Commander Marcus stood tall, his scaled skin reflecting the dim light as he stared at the red planet below. His thin lips curved into what his species considered a smile, but it looked more like a predator sizing up its prey. "So these are the humans," he said, studying the readings of Earth and its colonies. "Barely 200 years of space travel, and they think they can resist the mighty Empire." His officers nodded in agreement, their confidence built on 10,000 years of ruling 1,000 star systems. The humans had been discovered just 3 months ago. Their civilization had spread to Mars, built bases on several moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and established mining operations throughout their asteroid belt. To the Empire, they looked like children playing with toys. Back on Earth, in the United Defense Command Center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Ambassador Tom Wilson faced a wall of screens showing the Imperial fleet. His weathered face remained calm, but his eyes showed deep concern. Next to him, military officers watched the alien ships with growing unease. "We must try one more time," Wilson said, straightening his uniform. He activated the communication channel to the Imperial flagship. "Imperial Commander, this is Earth's ambassador. We ask again for peaceful dialogue. We have no wish for war, but if you force our hand—" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "You would be wise to turn back." Commander Marcus laughed, the sound echoing through the command channel. "Threats? From primitives." His voice dripped with contempt. "Your species will learn its place in the Empire, just like all others before you." Wilson shook his head sadly. "Then you leave us no choice. Remember, we warned you." Marcus cut the communication. "Launch the first attack wave. Target their Mars colony. Show these primitives what real power looks like." The Imperial ships moved with practiced precision. Energy weapons powered up, their green glow reflecting off the ship's hulls. The first shots streaked toward Mars colony, designed to destroy its protective shields and expose the domed cities to the harsh Martian atmosphere. But something unexpected happened. The energy beams hit invisible barriers far above the colony. Not the simple shields the Empire had detected, but something else entirely. The colony's defense systems sprang to life, but it wasn't like anything the Empire had seen before. Quantum-linked sensors had predicted the attack paths milliseconds before the weapons fired, and countermeasures were already in place. "Impossible," Marcus shouted as his fleet's opening salvo dissipated harmlessly. "Their technology level," our scouts reported. "Sir," one of his officers called out in alarm, multiple signals appearing from the surface. From hidden silos across Mars's surface, humanity's defensive weapons emerged. They didn't look impressive. Simple, streamlined shapes that seemed almost crude to Imperial eyes. But when they fired, the results were devastating. 3 Imperial ships exploded before their commanders could even register what was happening. Their mighty shields, perfected over thousands of years, might as well have been paper against the human weapons. The shots hadn't even been energy beams or plasma. They were something the Empire's sensors couldn't even properly identify. "Full retreat," Marcus ordered, his previous confidence shattered. "Back to defensive positions." As the Imperial ships scrambled to pull back, Wilson watched from Earth with a heavy heart. He turned to General James, who stood quietly beside him. "They never stood a chance, did they?" The general shook his head. "We've been watching them for over 100 years, Ambassador. We saw them coming long before they saw us. Every weapon, every defense we built, was designed specifically to counter their technology. And we still haven't shown them our real capabilities," Wilson mused. "No," the general confirmed. "This was just our Mars defense grid. One colony. They haven't seen our fleets yet, haven't seen what Earth can really do." He paused, watching the Imperial ships retreat in disarray. They thought they found a primitive species playing at space travel. Instead, they just walked into humanity's carefully laid trap. In his flagship, now bearing scars from the human weapons, Commander Marcus stared at the red planet below. For the first time in his long career, he felt fear. If this was what one human colony could do, what else had they been hiding? The war had begun, but it wasn't going to be the easy conquest the Empire had expected. Not at all. Admiral Jane Stone stood at the command center of the Ghost Fleet, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Imperial positions. The massive room was dark except for the blue glow of screens and star maps. After the Empire's failed attack on Mars, humanity was ready to show their true strength. All Ghost ships report ready, Admiral. Her second-in-command reported. The Empire still hasn't detected us. Stone nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. The Empire thought they knew where Earth's ships were. They were wrong. The Ghost Fleet had been hiding in plain sight for the past week, using technology that made them completely invisible to Imperial sensors. Begin Operation Shadow Strike, Stone ordered. Remember, hit and run. Don't let them figure out our patterns. Across space, 50 Earth ships moved silently toward their targets. They weren't the huge, obvious warships the Empire used. Instead, they were sleek, dark vessels that looked more like shadows than ships. Each one carried weapons specifically designed to tear through Imperial defenses. In his command ship, Imperial War Master Rex was getting frustrated. After the disaster at Mars, the Empire had brought in 3 of their best battle groups, over 200 ships. They were supposed to be hunting human vessels, but instead, they felt like they were being hunted. Another ship lost, an officer shouted. The green snake just disappeared. No warning, no distress signal. Rex slammed his fist on his command chair. That was the 3rd Imperial ship lost today, and they hadn't even seen their attackers. How were the humans doing this? The answer came in a way he never expected. Space itself seemed to ripple, and suddenly a human ship appeared right in front of his command vessel. It was smaller than his ship, almost delicate-looking, but the readings from it made no sense. The ship fired once, then vanished again. The shot passed through the Imperial shields like they weren't even there. Rex watched in horror as his second-largest ship split in half, its reactor going dark. No explosion, no fire. It just died, cut clean through. How are they doing this? He demanded. Where are they coming from? Where do they go? Nobody had answers. The Empire had ruled space for 10,000 years. Their tactics were perfect, their technology unmatched, until now. These humans fought like nothing they had ever seen. Back in the Ghost Fleet's command center, Admiral Stone watched the Imperial forces fall into chaos. They're starting to break formation, she reported. They still think this is a normal space battle. They don't understand. Her officers nodded. The Empire fought with huge fleets in organized lines, like ancient sailing ships. Humans had learned different lessons from their history. They fought like guerrilla warriors in space, striking from nowhere, disappearing before the enemy could respond. Admiral, one of her officers called out. Look at this. The Empire is trying to adapt. They're spreading their ships out. Stone actually laughed. Perfect. Begin Phase 2. The Ghost Fleet's attack patterns suddenly change. Now, instead of single ships appearing and disappearing, they started moving in small groups. 3 ships would appear together, attack from different angles, and vanish before the Imperial gunners could even turn their weapons. This is impossible, Rex shouted as he watched another of his ships go dark. No species can have this level of technology. The scouts said they were primitive. Sir, his tactical officer said quietly, I don't think the scouts were wrong. I think the humans wanted us to believe they were primitive. The realization hit Rex like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just prepared for this war, they had planned it. Every move, every technology was designed to counter Imperial tactics and technology. They hadn't just been hiding their strength. They had been studying the Empire's weaknesses. As the battle continued, Stone received a message from Earth Command. Ghost Fleet performing beyond expectations. Proceed with next phase when ready. Stone looked at the tactical display again. The Imperial battle groups were in complete disarray. 3 of their largest ships were dead in space, 17 smaller ones destroyed or disabled. And this was just the beginning. "Send word to all ships," she ordered. "Mission successful. Return to shadows. Let them worry about where we'll appear next." The Ghost Fleet vanished again, leaving the Imperial forces staring into empty space. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were hunting the hunters. And they were very, very good at it. Professor Alan Wright watched as Imperial scientists examined the captured human technology with growing confusion. The Empire had requested this meeting on their neutral space station, hoping to understand what they were fighting against. Alan found it amusing how the Empire's top minds stared at human devices like children trying to solve a complex puzzle. "This makes no sense," the lead Imperial scientist muttered, his scaled fingers moving over a simple human quantum communicator. "Your technology doesn't follow any normal development path. It's like you skipped entire stages of scientific progress." Alan smiled. He was chosen for this meeting because he looked harmless, an old man with gray hair and gentle eyes. But he had helped design many of humanity's most deadly weapons. "Perhaps," Alan said calmly, "you went up the wrong path." The Imperial scientists looked up sharply. Their leader, Dr. Rix, narrowed his 6 eyes. "Wrong path. We have developed our technology for 10,000 years. We have mastered energy shields, plasma weapons, faster than light travel." "Yes," Alan interrupted softly. "You mastered the obvious paths, the easy ones, but did you ever wonder what else might be possible?" He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small black cube. The Imperial sensors in the room immediately went crazy, trying to understand what they were seeing. "This," Alan explained, "is a quantum tunneling device, but not like anything you've imagined. We don't just move particles through barriers. We move ideas through reality itself." The Imperial scientists stared in horror as the cube floated up and passed straight through their strongest energy shield like it wasn't there. Their shields could stop any known energy or matter in the galaxy, except, apparently, human technology. "Impossible," Rix whispered. "The energy requirements alone." "Would be impossible," Alan agreed, "if you tried to do it your way. But we found another way. We don't fight against quantum mechanics. We let it work for us." Back on the Imperial capital ship, the Empire's War Council was meeting. Reports from across space showed more devastating losses. Their mighty fleets were being torn apart by weapons they couldn't understand, couldn't defend against. "How?" demanded High Commander Rex, still shaken from his encounter with the Ghost Fleet. "How did they advance so far without us noticing?" His intelligence officer cleared his throat. "Sir, we've discovered something disturbing. The humans. They've been using AI systems integrated with their own minds. Not crude computers like other races, but true artificial intelligence that thinks and grows with them." The room fell silent. Every species in the galaxy knew the dangers of AI. The Empire had banned its development after seeing 2 civilizations destroy themselves trying to create it. But humans hadn't just created AI. They had merged with it. Meanwhile, in Earth's Deep Space Command Center, Admiral Stone was meeting with Professor Wright after his return from the space station. "Did you show them what they wanted to see?" she asked. Alan nodded, his gentle smile now looking slightly predatory. "I showed them exactly what we wanted them to see. They're terrified now, realizing how little they understand about our capabilities. And the real advances, still safely hidden." Alan walked to a window, looking out at the stars. "They're so proud of their energy shields and plasma weapons. They never even considered quantum entanglement weaponry, or consciousness transfer technology, or reality phase shifting." Stone checked her neural display, data flowing directly into her mind through humanity's AI interface. "The Empire's ships are pulling back from 3 more sectors. They're starting to realize their weapons are useless against us." "Of course they are," Alan said. We've had centuries to prepare, to develop technologies specifically designed to counter theirs, while they watched us with telescopes. Thinking we were just learning to reach our moon, we were studying them, learning their weaknesses, building weapons they couldn't imagine. A message flashed across Stone's neural display. She smiled. The quantum net is ready. Time for the next phase. Elen nodded. The Empire thought they found a primitive species still learning about space travel. Instead, they found humanity at its most dangerous, prepared, united, and fighting on their own terms. In space, more Imperial ships retreated, their crews shaken by weapons they couldn't understand and defenses they couldn't penetrate. The mighty Empire was learning a harsh lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous enemy isn't the one with the biggest ships or the longest history, but the one who thinks differently. And humans had always been very, very different. The Imperial fleet moved silently through space toward Freedom Colony, humanity's oldest settlement beyond Mars. On his command ship, War Master Rex watched with cold satisfaction. The Empire's new planet killer weapon was ready, a massive cannon that could crack a world in half. "Let's see how their advanced technology handles this," Rex said. "Target their main city dome. Fire when ready." The planet killer's beam struck Freedom Colony with devastating force. The entire planet seemed to glow for a moment. Rex allowed himself a smile, which quickly died as the sensor readings came in. "Sir," his officer's voice shook. "No casualties. Not a single human death registered." "What?" Rex rushed to the screen. "That's impossible. We just hit them with enough power to split a planet." On Earth, in the deep bunker of emergency operations, Colonel James watched the data stream in through his neural link. Distributed consciousness backup complete. All colonists' minds successfully transferred before impact. The Empire just destroyed empty buildings. Freedom Colony's administrator, Peter Black, appeared on the main screen, his consciousness now housed in Earth's quantum servers. "My people are safe. All 10,000 of us were evacuated through the quantum network the moment we detected the planet killer powering up." He smiled. "Now it's our turn." Commander Robert Black, Peter's brother, stood on the bridge of the human stealth carrier Shadow of Earth. His ship led a fleet of 500 vessels, all hidden from Imperial sensors by quantum cloaking technology. They had been waiting for this moment. "The Empire just showed us their worst weapon," Robert announced to his crew. "And we proved it useless. All ships, begin Operation Thunderstorm." Across space, human ships appeared from nowhere. But these weren't the small Ghost Fleet ships from before. These were humanity's true warships, each one powered by a miniature quantum singularity and armed with weapons that bent reality itself. Multiple human ships detected. Rex's tactical officer screamed, "They're everywhere." The human fleet struck with precision born of decades of preparation. They didn't target the Imperial ship's weapons or shields. Instead, nanite swarms poured from human vessels, burrowing through Imperial hulls and into their computer systems. "We're losing control," Imperial captains reported one after another. "Our ships, they're being taken over." Robert watched from his command chair as the nanites did their work. The Empire had always feared AI, had banned its development. Now they faced ships controlled by human quantum AI, enhanced by centuries of development. Their own ships' computers were primitive in comparison. "Sir," his AI interface reported, "we've compromised 60% of the Imperial fleet's systems. Their ships are ours now." In the Imperial flagship, Rex watched in horror as his own ships turned their weapons against each other. The mighty planet killer, pride of the Imperial fleet, powered down completely as nanites invaded its control systems. "Status report," he demanded. "We've lost control of most of the fleet," his officer reported, panic in his voice. "The humans, they're not destroying our ships. They're taking them." On Earth, the Defense Council watched the battle unfold. Admiral Stone's voice was calm as she reported, "Freedom Colony's destruction was the Empire's last mistake. They showed us their ultimate weapon and proved it worthless. Colonel James added. Our consciousness transfer technology saved every life. The Empire can destroy our buildings, but they can't kill our people. In space, Robert's fleet continued its work. Imperial ships fell silent one by one, their crews evacuating in escape pods as human AI took control. The mighty planet killer, now under human control, was being torn apart by nanites, its technology analyzed and improved upon even as it was dismantled. Send word to the Imperial capital, Robert ordered. Tell them this: you destroyed an empty colony. We just took your strongest fleet without killing a single Imperial citizen. Consider your next move carefully. Rex, watching his fleet fall to human technology, finally understood the truth. The Empire hadn't found a primitive species to conquer. They had awakened something far more dangerous, a humanity that had spent centuries preparing for this war, developing technologies specifically to counter Imperial weapons. And they still hadn't seen humanity's worst weapons. Not yet. The news spread across the Empire like a shockwave. The humans had captured an entire Imperial battle fleet without destroying a single ship. In the Imperial Palace on Capital World, General Drake paced nervously. As reports came in from across Imperial space, his scales had lost their proud shine. Another system has declared independence, an aide reported. The Blue Star Alliance is joining the humans. They're the fifth group to switch sides this week. Drake stared at the giant map showing the Empire's territories. Red lights were blinking everywhere as more systems broke away. After 10,000 years of rule, the Empire was falling apart. They're all inspired by the humans, Drake muttered. A species we thought was primitive is teaching others to resist us. On his screen, another report flashed. 3 more Imperial fleets had gone silent. Not destroyed, just silent. The humans were spreading their nanite technology across space, turning the Empire's own ships against them. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth flagship Thunder, Admiral Stone received updates from across the galaxy. The Imperial forces are splitting up, her AI reported. Many ships are surrendering before we even arrive. Stone nodded, watching the tactical display. The Empire still had thousands of ships, but their crews were losing faith. Every day, more Imperial captains chose to surrender rather than face human technology. They're gathering their remaining loyal forces at Centauri Base, her second-in-command reported. About 800 ships. They think the base's defenses will protect them. Stone's lips curved in a slight smile. Time to show them our Star Eater technology. In deep space, near Centauri Base, Imperial Admiral Rex watched his sensor screens with growing dread. His remaining loyal ships clustered around the base, their weapons ready. The base itself was a fortress, with shields that could withstand any known weapon. Then space itself seemed to tear open. What is that? Rex demanded, pointing at the strange dark spot that had appeared near the base. His science officer's voice shook as he answered. It's a controlled black hole, sir. The humans are creating artificial gravity wells. The Star Eater was humanity's newest weapon. It didn't fire energy beams or launch missiles. Instead, it created small, controlled black holes that could be used with surgical precision. Impossible, Rex shouted. No one can control black holes. But the humans could. The dark spot grew larger, its gravitational pull carefully controlled. It didn't destroy the Imperial ships. It just pulled them out of position, disrupting their careful formation. Then the human fleet appeared, emerging from quantum space. Their ships looked different now, upgraded with technology taken from captured Imperial vessels. They were no longer hiding their strength. All Imperial forces, Stone's voice broadcasted on all channels. Your shields cannot stop our weapons. Your formations cannot survive our tactics. Surrender, and we guarantee your safety. On Capital World, General Drake received the reports with growing horror. Centauri Base, the Empire's strongest fortress, was being taken apart piece by piece. The Star Eater technology pulled sections of the base into carefully controlled gravity wells, while human ships disabled the weapons. "Sir," his aide reported, "we're receiving messages from 50 more systems. They're all declaring independence from the Empire. The Galactic Council is calling for an emergency session." Drake slumped in his chair. The mighty Empire, which had ruled 1,000 systems for 10,000 years, was collapsing. Not through violence or destruction, but through the precise application of superior technology. Back at Centauri Base, Rex watched as his ships surrendered one by one. The humans hadn't destroyed a single vessel. They didn't need to. Their technological superiority was so complete that resistance seemed pointless. "Send the surrender signal," he finally ordered. In Earth's command center, celebration broke out as news of the surrender reached them. But Admiral Stone remained serious. "The Empire's main fleet is broken," she announced. "But their leadership still hasn't surrendered. They're planning something desperate." She looked at the tactical display, watching as more systems declared their independence from the Empire. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change. But the war wasn't over yet. The Empire still had one card left to play, and desperate enemies were always the most dangerous. In the deepest chamber of the Imperial Palace on Capital World, the Emperor himself had emerged from his sacred chambers for the first time in 100 years. His ancient eyes glowed with fury as he faced his remaining loyal commanders. "Release the World Breakers," he ordered. "All of them." General Drake's scales paled. "My Emperor, the World Breakers are forbidden. Even we have never used them. They could destroy entire sectors of space. Better to destroy everything than lose to primitives," the Emperor hissed. "Launch them, all 10,000 of them." Across Imperial space, hidden bases activated. Giant ships, each larger than a moon, emerged from secret hangars. The World Breakers were the Empire's most terrible weapons, kept secret for 10,000 years. Each one could destroy an entire star system. On Earth, emergency alarms blared through every command center. Admiral Stone burst into the main control room, her neural link already feeding her information about the new threat. "They're launching everything," she reported to the Earth Defense Council. 10,000 superweapons, each headed for a different human allied system. Colonel James looked grim. Time to revelation. 20 minutes before they're in firing range of the first targets. James nodded. "Then it's time. Activate the Prometheus Protocol." In her command ship, Stone took a deep breath. The Prometheus Protocol was humanity's ultimate weapon, the one they had hoped never to use. For centuries, humans had mapped the quantum signature of every Imperial ship, every weapon, every piece of technology. "Send the warning," she ordered. "One last chance." Her message broadcast across all frequencies. "Imperial forces, stand down immediately. You cannot win this fight. This is your final warning." In the Imperial Palace, the Emperor laughed as he received the message. "They still try to threaten us. The World Breakers cannot be stopped. No weapon can penetrate their shields. No force can." He stopped mid-sentence. On every screen, across every Imperial ship and base, a simple countdown appeared. 10, 9, 8. "What is this?" the Emperor demanded. "Unknown, sire," Drake replied, frantically checking readings. It's in all our systems. Every ship, every base, even here in the palace." 3, 2, 1. Admiral Stone spoke one word. Execute. Across the galaxy, every piece of Imperial technology simply stopped. The World Breakers, the mighty Imperial fleets, even the palace's own systems. Everything went dark. Billions of machines, all built using the same basic Imperial technology that hadn't changed in 10,000 years, fell silent at once. In the palace, now lit only by emergency lights, Drake stared in horror at his dead screens. How did they? "Quantum linkage," a human voice said. Professor Alan Wright's hologram appeared in the palace chamber. "We mapped the quantum signature of your technology centuries ago. Everything you built, every weapon you created, shares the same basic patterns. We could have shut you down at any time." The Emperor slumped in his throne. "Why? Why wait until now?" "We hoped you would learn." Stone's voice joined the conversation. "We showed you our power gradually, gave you chances to surrender. But you chose to use weapons that would kill trillions of innocent people. We couldn't allow that." Across Imperial space, every ship, every base, every piece of technology larger than a hand tool lay dormant. The mighty Empire had been stripped of its power in a single moment, without a single shot fired. In Earth's command center, James watched the reports flood in. All Imperial technology successfully deactivated. No casualties. The world breakers are dead in space. "Send in the recovery teams," Stone ordered. "Rescue any Imperial citizens in danger. Make sure they understand. We're here to help, not harm." The Emperor, sitting in his darkened palace, finally understood. The humans hadn't just outsmarted them or outfought them. They had been in control the entire time. "We told you to run," Wright's hologram said softly. "Now shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" Around them, in the darkness of the Imperial Palace, 10,000 years of empire ended not with a bang, but with the quiet hum of dying machines. The war was over. Humanity had won without destroying a single inhabited world or taking a single Imperial life. They had simply turned off the lights. 1 month after the Imperial surrender, the Great Hall of Earth's Global Assembly hosted representatives from 1,000 worlds. Where once the Emperor's throne had dominated Capital World, now a simple round table stood in the newly renamed Unity City. Admiral Stone watched from a balcony as alien representatives filed into the hall. Former Imperial worlds, independent systems, and human colonies all gathered together for the first time as equals. "Quite a change from the Imperial days," Professor Wright said, joining her at the railing. The old scientist looked tired but satisfied. "Hard to believe it was just a month ago when we shut down their empire." Below them, the former emperor walked in, now dressed in simple robes. Without his technology and weapons, he looked smaller, almost ordinary. He took his seat at the round table, not at the head, for this table had no head, but as an equal among many. "It's time," Stone said, moving to take her place at the assembly. She stepped up to the speaker's position, facing the gathered representatives of 1,000 worlds. The room fell silent, all eyes on the human who had helped end 10,000 years of imperial rule. "Today," she began, "we start a new chapter in galactic history. The Terran Protectorate offers membership to all worlds, imperial and free alike. Not as subjects, but as partners." Screens around the hall activated, showing images that made many aliens gasp. Hidden human cities under the oceans of Earth. Vast space stations cloaked from imperial sensors. Factories and research centers that had worked in secret for centuries. "We kept our true level of advancement hidden." Stone continued, not out of fear, but out of hope. Hope that war could be avoided. Hope that the Empire would choose peace. Professor Wright stepped forward, taking over the presentation. "Earth detected the Empire's scouts over 400 years ago. We saw how they treated primitive worlds, so we showed them what they expected to see. A young species just reaching for the stars. Meanwhile," Stone added, "we prepared. We developed technologies along different paths. We built defenses that could protect not just ourselves, but all worlds from tyranny. And now we offer to share this knowledge." The former emperor stood slowly. The hall went quiet again. "You could have conquered us," he said. "You could have destroyed our worlds, killed our people. Why didn't you?" Stone's answer was simple. "Because that's not who we are. Humans don't seek to rule. We seek to protect, to help, to grow together." Across the hall, representatives began to stand. The leader of the Blue Star Alliance spoke first. "We vote to join the Protectorate." Others followed, system after system choosing to join. Not out of fear, as they had joined the Empire, but out of hope for a better future. Professor Wright activated one final display. showing the new Protectorate's first project, a massive network of quantum gates connecting all member worlds. Free travel for all citizens, he announced. Free exchange of knowledge and culture. Protected by human technology, but governed by all. In Earth's deep command bunker, Colonel James watched the assembly through secure feeds. Display screens showed the deactivated world breakers being dismantled, their technology studied and improved upon. Imperial ships were being rebuilt, upgraded with human quantum systems. The galaxy's entering a new golden age, Stone told the assembly. But we must remember the lessons of history. Power must be balanced with wisdom. Technology must serve life, not threaten it. The former emperor spoke again, his voice holding a new humility. We ruled through fear for 10,000 years. You conquered us with mercy in less than a year. Perhaps it is time we learned from you. As the assembly continued, Stone looked out at the faces of 1,000 worlds. The war was over. The Empire had fallen. But this wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. In orbit above Earth, the first quantum gate hummed to life, its light a beacon of hope for a new era. Humanity had faced the Galactic Empire and won not through destruction, but through wisdom. They had protected not just themselves, but all sentient life. They had warned the Empire to run. Instead, the Empire had learned to walk beside them into a better future. And somewhere in the vast depths of space, other empires, other powerful forces might be watching. But now they would think twice before threatening the peace. Because now they knew, humans don't just fight to win. They fight to protect, to preserve, to build. And they were very, very good at it.